Okay, folks, here's the deal.
I'm at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
This is gonna be a special
One of the most intense trails.
This is the operating station.
That's a bear.
Wow, do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The traveler has
I just do things.
It was a huge, beastly, bulging man. Plates were from Kansas.
Okay, how about that? I think this will be really poor audio, but I think this is some audio. Does that give us something at least? Hello, hello, hello. Audio. Audio. Hey, all right. JMB 905 says, there we go. We got it? Barely. Okay. Okay. All right, let's jack up some volume here. I've got my my air conditioner running in the room too, which I cannot turn off today. That can't happen. barely, but only on the left side. Interesting. Yeah, my DJI receiver is totally dead, and I can't figure out what the heck happened. Totally dead. Left side only. Can't hear the AC. Well, that's a plus. At least we got that going for us. I'm not sure why it's only on one side. And I'm just lost without my DJI system working. That is just so... That is so disheartening. Is it just not charged because it wasn't sitting in there right? I'll let that sit for a little bit. Okay. All right. So, is that better? For some reason, I got a little more volume here. All right. Let's see if I can use these properties here. Yeah, go with it. Okay. Well, if you can hear me, Dave, I guess that's something. Huh. That's what you get for showing up late to run a live stream. Something like that's going to happen, and your main audio system is going to be totally dead. This little DJI system, the one that you see everybody use with these little microphones that we magnet onto our clothing. Man, this thing has been 100%, and it absolutely, the receiver part of it will not turn on, but that's what you get for starting late. Hey, it's been a busy day. That's part of my reason. I had to start off playing golf today. Poor me, but I got invited to play 18 holes. Got back and called Discount Tire to have some new tires put on the truck just to set up an appointment like tomorrow-ish. And they said, "Hey, we're empty now. Bring it now. No waiting." And I thought, "Holy crap, this is going to be tight." But okay, we'll go get the tires put in, or the tires put on, and see if I can make it back for the live stream. But we got till 6:30 tonight, so that's the nice thing. We've got till 23:33. So we still have plenty of time to answer any POTA questions that you find people might have. And that's what we're here for. We're here primarily to cater to, I'd say, to newer POTA operators, newer ham radio operators, but us experienced guys can have some questions as well. We can answer those as well, but this live stream has been set up to be a place to ask beginner questions. This is a place where there's no such thing as a dumb question. If it's been asked 1,000 times before, it doesn't matter. This is you asking it this time, so that makes it different. And we'll never tell you, just go read the freaking manual. Though we may open up the manual and read it together. And today we may actually do that because since we met here last, there has been a rule change in POTA. I have never known there to ever be a rule change, but it has happened, and that's what we'll talk about here tonight. Yeah, so apologize for coming in late, and of course, major audio technical difficulties walking into that. Who'd have thought? But here we go. We got at least something going. I'm glad the AC isn't driving you guys nuts, because it's pretty loud to me just sitting here in the room. But we got videos tonight. Actually, Mike, Into MAK, is the guy with a long video here at starting at 23:33. He's the only one with a long video tonight. I don't have a new video up. He's got a 20-minute video, which means at 23:53, Jeff's got something a little different. Mr. K3JRZ has a 7-minute video that Seems like it's going to be a little different than his normal format. So I will be interested to see that. Who all do we have in the chat here today? I am way behind. Of course, we got Jeff himself, K3JRZ. Great to have you from Delaware, Jeff. Thanks for being here today. Let's see. John Bergsing, 615. Thanks for joining us. That's a new name. I don't recognize you unless there's another account that you're generally in. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining the POTA Elmer Hour. We got Mr. Dave down in, I think he's still down in Texas, KB5 UTY. Mesh Dealer Dave, he's with us. JMB 905. I think that's a new account there that I don't recognize. Great to have you here. Welcome to the live stream. Anybody else? Chris joined. Chris was the only guy that was a little later than me. Great to have you here, Chris, and thanks for showing up later than me. KD9Y, excuse me, KD9YSW. Roger McKeon, there's a member. Thanks for showing up for the live stream, buddy. I think I got everybody there. I apologize if I missed you. I'm way behind. Here's another new one, Mike, KE9DSK. Thanks for joining. Dave is in Texas, in Mike's backyard. Is that K8MRD, Mike's backyard? But here we go. We got till 6:30, and we've got a bit of a hot topic. Can I pull up POTA? Let's see. Rules and documentation. All the way down at the bottom. That's not the page I was thinking of. Getting started for activators. I think it's on the rule. Let's go to the rules page here. Here we go. Passing the mic. So let's read what it says here and see if it's different than what it's been in the past. When multiple individuals are activating together, I'm reading down here in the bottom paragraph, passing the mic. When multiple individuals are activating together, but not under a club call, the operators must, that is a word change right there. The operators must pass the mic and take turns making contacts. In order for each activator to claim credit for making a contact, they must communicate with each of their hunters. In these situations, each individual should maintain and submit their own log according to the logging requirement sections. Okay, blah, blah. That last part there only makes sense. So here we go. I don't want to call it a major rule change, but, you know, POTA didn't change stuff too often. So the fact that they changed rules at all seems pretty major. So, what was it before? I mean, we can talk about this a couple different ways, okay? We can say it's a rules change, or we can say that this was always the intent of the rule, and they've just clarified the language. That's what I think. So, the issue that people had was when there were large groups. I know, like coming up here at Hanceville, there's a group that tends to get together that has 20 or 30 operators. They would activate, and when they're talking to hunters, they'd say, "Hey, you're 5-5 to all 30 activators in the park," and everybody's there logging their own thing. I mean, that's never something that I have personally had a problem with. I don't think the vast majority of POTA participants being activators or hunters really had a problem with. I think there was just some squeaky wheels that didn't like the fact that they would get logged by people that they didn't talk to, and they didn't think that was in the spirit of the POTA rules, and therefore it got clarified. Me personally, I never interpreted how it used to be written in that way. It was talking about using a club call and how, one option was multiple people might use a club call, or they may pass the mic and use all their individual calls. I never interpreted that rule to mean they may not. They don't have to pass it around. They don't all have to talk. Some people read it that way, and it's POTA. So what? We don't have to get too. I don't think we have to get too uptight about all this. These types of activations never really bothered me. It seems like they were pretty fun. It was a nice way for guys like James Mon to interact with a lot of people all at once. It was pretty cool. And now you just can't. Now it's just flat not allowed. So, I mean, take that for what you will. Now you actually physically have to speak in the microphone. So, and again, for me personally, if I'm activating, that's what I want to do anyway. If I'm logging people, I want to speak to them myself, through the microphone, and that's the way I want to operate. So then the question is, do I have problems with other people doing it the other way? No. I mean, not really. You know why? Because it just doesn't affect me. It does nothing to me. So why would I care? But that is the major rule change or clarification in the new POTA rules. And I think this has just happened in the last week or two. I saw Thomas Martin make a post on the Facebook POTA page with the new wording. So there you go. According to POTA rules, you have to physically yourself speak through the microphone to the hunters in order to, log these contacts according to the rules of POTA. There was a pretty good conversation about it I watched on James's live stream. It was his Sunday live stream. I want to say it was July 14th. It was a Sunday live stream right after that rules change. So I think that would be the 14th. And he and Dan, that'd be the I think the rules change came down on the 10th on a Friday, and he was talking about it on his July 12th live stream on Sunday. And he and Dan had a pretty good discussion about it. If you want to hear more, I would encourage you to go watch that live stream there, and they will talk. You can hear them talk about it quite a bit. But they were. I know James was a guy that really liked using that. It didn't happen very often. I think once or twice a year at these conferences, you'd have a bunch of activators around the table that would operate that way, and it's been ruled out. So there you go. I don't know. What's the chat saying? Do you have any strong feelings? What do we got here? John saying, due to exposing his wife to POTA, she is studying for her license. We have plans to use 2 mics connected through a splitter. I assume they don't only mean one mic can be used. No, I don't think that's it at all. As long as you're both speaking, you could share the same microphone. You could have different microphones. When I activated with KJ6ER, Greg out in California, and Jim, KG6UO, they had a similar system with 3 separate microphones. The trick was when one person pressed the push to talk, all 3 mics were active. So John, I'm not sure in your case with the splitter that you're planning on using if it'll work that way, but you might check and see, have the 2 microphones as far apart as possible and push it, and maybe tap on one of the microphones and see if some sound goes through. If the other mic is hot when you push the push to talk on the first microphone. that would be something to check out and know. But yes, that would certainly be allowed. And good on you for getting your wife into involved in the POTA. That's awesome. I'm very jealous. So you guys can go out and do that together. And she's getting her license. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. Thanks for joining the live stream, buddy. So everyone actually has to make the contact. No big deal. And again, for the vast majority of all these activations, I gotta think this is a very minority issue. This just doesn't happen very often. They mean that each activator must talk to each hunter. You can pass one mic to each other, yes. Or you can both have multiple mics. Let's see, Jeff saying I need to read more. Let's go. Okay, I won't read that comment of yours, Jeff. Today's rule was recently updated by Parks on the Air board in an effort to make it more clear. Okay, fine. And again, I think that was always the intent, was that it was, you're supposed to make the contact. Roger McKeon says he's only ever activated alone, and when hunting, I've talked with everybody I've logged. Cool. It doesn't happen. I mean, every once in a while, I know there's, you talk to the first activator, and when you go to the second, QSB hits, and it all drops out. I mean, are you in some gray area there? Or is it, you didn't talk to the second activator, so no contact? That's something that changes too, because I know a lot of people would say, you got it. We got you in the log for both activators. Don't worry about it. We heard you. We heard your report, and all that. So don't worry about it. We got you in both logs. Does it change that? What do you guys think? Now I'm activating with Greg. Greg makes the contact. Then he passes it over to Jim. Jim makes the contact. They pass it to me, and I try to make the contact, but QSB knocks out the hunter, or the hunter is used to hunting Greg and Jim, and no, there's only two of them, and the fact that the third person's there is out of the ordinary, and they don't know what's going on, and they just leave, and I don't talk to them. So now I don't get to log them. Does it change that situation, do you think? All right, Jeff, I'm going through more of the... I don't think there's anything else. If there's anything else I missed that you think I need to address, I'll bring it up. JMB 905 says he's got his girlfriend studying. That's awesome. Picked up a UV5R Mini and sat down and started to study. Cool. Very good. If only you could get an HF radio in her hands, that's even better. It's because someone was crying. Yeah, probably. I know that I've read comments where people have said, "Hey, I didn't talk to you. I don't, you shouldn't be I shouldn't be in your log. I shouldn't get credit for hunting you." But, what the heck? Is it really that big a deal? I suppose, now that we have a board, I think the board just wanted to be clear about what the intent of the rule was, and that's all it comes down to. Hey, Rory, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining the live stream. Great to have you. Dave says, I admit I have said got both activators logged, but that has been when watching a live and know Nothing activated. Know that activators are actually there. I mean, there's gray area there. There's gray area there. The other thing that was interesting in James and Dan's live stream is they started talking about infers. And apparently that's something that people are talking about as well. Infers and eliminating possibly infers. That's being referred to as the nuclear option of just saying we're just going to eliminate infers. I don't know where that's coming from either. I mean, I know there's speculation that people are saying they're at infers, and there's question as to how those infers could possibly exist. I don't know. I've done a bunch of infers myself, and I mean, it seems pretty clear to me. All equipment must be in all your parks or within 100 feet of a trail. It seems pretty clear, but what do you guys think about that? Eliminating infers, that seems pretty extreme to me. Man, this DJA mic thing is just killing me. This was working on an activation I did last week, and I had nothing happen. It's acting like it's dead and it can't charge. Yeah. I'll have to look at it. No sense in wearing this thing. Yeah, Dave, so you're actually you're in a threefer right now. So you're in Huntsville State Park, which also is, what is it? There's a national forest with that as well. And I know I've heard Mike talk about it. John's asking, what is an infer? Great question. An infer, like in is a variable. So think in-fer. So it could be when you are activating multiple parks. So you have 2 parks, we call that a twofer. If you're in 3 parks, that's a threefer, and it keeps going up. I've activated as many as 7. So we would refer to that as a 7fer. So the in is just a variable to put in place of the number, and we refer to them as infers. So the way the rules are stated, for any park, really, you have to have yourself and all of your radio equipment inside the park. So if it's a twofer, you have to have them inside of both parks. Usually, that situation is when you have a trail going through a park. That's the most common. On the 7fer I did in Wyoming, it was 4 trails all overlapping each other, going by a national historic landmark, and all of it was within a herding area, a BLM herding area. So but a trail going through a forest or a state park or something like that is the classic example. So if you're in one park and within 100 feet, and all your equipment within 100 feet of a trail, then you would have a twofer, and with one activation, you could upload it twice with a different park listed both times. And with your one activation, you get 2 parks, and every contact that you get counts twice. So if you went in and made 10 contacts and you're in 2 different parks, you're going to get credit for 20 contacts in parks on the air. Mike votes on not doing away with them. I think I'm with Mike. I would say keep them. Jeff's the same. Do not eliminate infers. I agree. And I suppose it's it would probably be way too much work just to go through and say what all the infers are. Well, yes, this is, in this park there's a fifer, and list all of them within POTA, so they're real clear and where you have to be and all that. Because that's the thing, you can't just be. I think there might be some looseness in how people are defining a twofer, let's say. So if you're in a park that has a trail go through it, you need to be in the park in a location where you're within 100 feet of the trail. And I think some people some activators treat it as though if I'm anywhere in the park, I get a twofer. That's speculation on my part. I don't know for a fact that anybody has done that. Dave says, I understand why I had some tell Wilson Creek Battlefield was a twofer with the Trail of Tears, and it is not the Trail of Tears. The Trail of Tears is probably over a mile away from the spots you can activate in Wilson's Creek Battlefield. Yeah, that might be a good example. Maybe people are being a little loose with the 100-foot definition as well. Sam Houston National Forest and Sam Houston Forest Wildlife Management Area. Yeah, so those are the three first. So let's look at that. If we go to, we'll pull up POTA map here, and let's go to Huntsville here, and we'll just take a look at it. Let's see, it's right in here. Huntsville State Park. Let's see, I need to load Texas. Oh, dang it, it zoomed me out. You sucker. So here's Sam Houston National Forest. So I see that POTA map shows it separate from Huntsville State Park. I think POTA map might not be up to date on all this. From what I've heard from Mike, I think this is a recent change or a recent interpretation that maybe POTA map doesn't reflect. And I don't even see Sam Houston, what is it, a wildlife area? I don't even see that showing up anywhere. Big Thicket. That's one of my that's one of my favorite park names. Big Thicket. Everything's bigger in Texas, right? Yeah, so I know Mike has described this on his channel specifically, and I think he's even spoken to officials on the ground. So this might be one where, the on-the-ground knowledge, it's always better than what we see on these maps here. But this seems to indicate that there's no infer involved. But I'm fairly confident that that is in fact a threefer. A7IKE says, I don't understand why people want infers. Isn't the point to get on the radio? Yeah, I don't get all wrapped up around it either. If there's any question in my mind, I'll just do one and not worry about it. Some people really like the numbers. They really like getting all the parks and all the contacts and building that in their profile, and that's what they enjoy. That's what motivates them to get out there and get on the radio. And I think guys like you and I just like going out and being in a park and activating, and that's all we need to get ourselves excited to get on the radio. So, and here Eric's in here plugging tiles on the air. Eric, I'm going to do that one of these days. That's why programs like tiles on the air make it way easier to get on the air and still make contacts. Yeah, POTA's still pretty easy. We don't have too many rules that we fuss about here. Dave says, yes, if you're not in Huntsville State Park, it's a twofer. And there are parts of the forest that are not management area. Okay, makes sense. And, this research is, it's a lot more confusing than you would think up front. It's not always clear exactly where boundaries of parks are. It's not always clear how or if they overlap. So that's something you just gotta pound through. And like I said, if I'm not confident in it, then I just won't worry about it. And Eric, you got a good point there. If you want something simpler and you're park limited, doing tiles can still get you on the radio. And that's probably the biggest complaint that people have about parks on the air is they just don't have great access. But still, light years better than things like beaches on the air or summits on the air. There's some major gaps in those programs. So, relatively speaking, I think POTA does pretty well. You can sub your log for a POTA park to tiles and get credit for being in a grid and a park. Good point. You can do both at the same time. Because tiles, you can literally be anywhere, right, Eric? I think they say you still have to be on public land or at least have permission to be where you're at. Help me out, Eric. What's the rule on public versus private land there? Like, could I activate a tile on my own property? Or do I need to be on public land? And does tiles on the air allow you to straddle a grid like the satellite guys can? Do you guys want to look at the DC stuff? Is that what you want to do? I mean, when everyone's talking about this and whether infers are infers, is that what they're talking about? Are they talking about all the DC stuff? It drives me crazy sometimes that we'll talk about these things generically because we may not necessarily want to call specific people out, but it makes it hard to discuss at the same time. But is this what we're really talking about when we're talking about infers, or is it more of a widespread issue? I know there's tons of them in here. And we're missing a lot of information in POTA maps on the trails, so that makes that hard to figure out. But I know like Dell has all these called out on his QRZ page. I mean, he says when he's in the set 7 for which park he's in, and I've looked at it, and it's just hard to tell. There's just a couple that are hard to tell exactly where they're at. Like, what is this one? Lyndon Baines Johnson Memorial Grove on the Potomac. So it shows that boundary there, but this is the only place I've ever seen this boundary. And there's another one that's the memorial, the Lyndon Baines Johnson Memorial in there. I think that's one as well. Is it, or is it just the Grove? I think that was showing me it was just the grove. Yeah, it is. It's just the grove. But I don't know where this boundary comes from. I never see that anywhere else on any of the National Park Service sites. So that's hard to figure out. And then there's trails that come down this side of the island. There's trails that come down over here on this side of the island. There's 3 or 4, I think, that go along here. And do they ever get close enough to the to the Memorial Grove to count that all together? That's always the question. And without being there on the ground, it's hard to say. You can activate a tile on your property as long as you are outside and not using your home station. Okay, so it has to be a portable station. And you have to get permission again. Grid is pretty big, so you can always find public access as you don't have any boundaries to worry about. So as long as you have permission to be on that property, then you're okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be private land or public land within the tiles on the air systems. That's pretty cool. Let's see, Roger McKeon, US 3424 is the one that gives me heartburn. It covers a huge area, but they call it a trail. Most of all the trails are roads. 3424. Let's look that up. Oh, Ice Age floods. National Geologic Trail. Yes, because this seems to actually cover some area from what I've been told. So here's the National Park Service site. All right, interactive map. So here we've got some shaded areas. We've got some trail areas. I know I've heard guys up in Washington speak about this as though it has space, and it covers an incredible amount of space, and is the kind of space where most of the parks in the area are. So a lot of parks overlap with this trail system. You really don't get any legend with this map. So it's hard to know what any of this stuff means they have on here. Try this brochure down here. There is no brochure. I got no link. Nothing here to click. The brochure is available for free at here. Okay. Maybe we can just search for it. Audio information. Huh. We have descriptions of images, but no images. Goodness, look at all this text on a brochure page. You'd think there'd be something a little more user-friendly. Okay. This is where I like to do an images search. So I'm seeing a bunch of maps here, and it does look like you know, there are areas defined. We've got ancient glacial lakes, area impacted by Ice Age flooding, Ice Age floods, and then there's an actual trail. Okay, here's a clue on the POTA site. Down here in the bottom, it says, check map for affected area. And it gives us the page that we were just on. And it seems to indicate there's, there's areas. I just wish they... This other map showed it better. These look like the same areas. Is that the same shapes there? If I go back and forth, I'm looking like at that shape right there. Looks like a little whale with his mouth open. That's the same shape right there. So those seem to correlate. So that would be area impacted by Ice Age flooding. I see what you mean. Because the park is called Ice Age Floods National Geologic Trail. The trail itself. But the way I've heard everybody talk about it, it's all these other areas as well. I've had good luck with MPS maps, Jeff. It's just, in this case, and I do like, this format of map, because if I'm checking out a place like, well, this one's stuck on, it doesn't want to go off that park, but it does have really well-defined areas on all the parks, so that's, I do like that. I just wish in this case it said on here what these all mean. But POTA page says check map for affected area, and they use the word area, and they don't use trail alignment. So that little phrase right there. If I'm wondering in the interpretation of what Ice Age Floods National Geologic Trail means, it's talking about the affected area right here on the POTA page. And the fact that it uses the word area makes me think it's all this area within. I think that seems pretty legit there because of that one little word. I mean, if they really meant for it to just be the trail, I think this right here would be worded differently. This is a great moment for me to say, who has that question? It was Roger McKeon. This is a great moment for me to say, Roger, I am not a POTA official. Despite the fact that this is the POTA Elmer Hour, I am not in any way associated or affiliated with POTA. And, I don't even know if they like me. I get half my Facebook posts taken off the POTA Facebook page. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but that has happened several times. Hey, Pepe, good to see you, buddy. We got a few members in there now, working to keep mid-roll ads off my videos. Now, I had no way of turning mid-roll ads off live stream, so you may see some here on the live stream. All I could do was put it on a frequency of low. I could change it to low, medium, and high, and that's it. I couldn't turn them off unless I demonetized the whole video. So you may get a video within the live stream, or an ad. I don't know. Does that help, Roger? Does that help you, Roger? Says I like your thinking. I think that's good. There's a map link at the bottom, just below the first activator stat. Yeah. Yeah, but I would feel good if it's me, Roger. I would feel good doing that. Did I activate anywhere where I could put that? Let's go back to this map. Does that cover anything that I activated? Maybe in this white bluish area up here was North Cascades and my Mount Baker activation. That could be there. Mount Rainier is a no. Where is Mount St. Helens is in here somewhere. I think that's negative. Where's that at? That's down this road right here. So there it is. Right there is Mount St. Helens. So that's not in it. And after that, I think I was down to Crater Lake down there, which is not in it. So maybe these first two, because they're in this white area, but that's not. No, that's not counted as any part of the. I'm looking at this white shaded area up at the top of these states, and they don't seem like they're part of the Ice Age floods area. It's not indicated on this key here. It's not ancient glacial lakes or area impacted by Ice Age flooding. I think that's where the actual glaciers themselves were, which oddly enough is not part of the part of this park. Who who made the comment about BLM maps? Rory, of course, in Nevada. Yeah, I'm totally with you there. They are awful, and I've stated as much on this channel before. Hey Andy, glad to see you. Hey Paul, welcome to the live stream. Glad you guys joined. Paul made me think of this because Paul just got back from a pretty epic road trip, but we got another ham on a really cool road trip right now. And of course, this is the Travelin Ham, so we like things like that. But it's Ham Radio Launchpad, I think is his channel. Yeah, this is it right here. I'm subbed to it. Oh gosh, I can't think of his first name. I know he didn't have his call sign on here. Somebody help me if you know Ham Radio Launchpad's first name. But he and his wife have just embarked on a 1-year POTA rove. So they're going to be on the road in a small travel trailer. It's not like a teardrop. It's not like Kyle's teardrop. But they are in a smallish travel trailer and will be driving around, I want to say about 2/3 of the country. So they're going, they're making their way up to the Great Lakes area right now. Then I think they're gonna kind of go over to the northeast, and then as it gets cooler, they're gonna go down in the southeast and hit the southwest, and then they'll get back to. They came out of Texas. They'll get back to Texas a year from now in July. So I think that's going to be a fun thing to follow over the next year. I've subscribed to his Patreon page as well, because he's going to have some extra stuff on there, write some articles as he goes. But that seems like that's going to be pretty fun to follow, and I think he's a pretty good YouTuber. He really does the level deadpan attitude really well, and it comes across really well, and it's not that easy to do. I thought that's what I did when I started doing YouTube, and I thought I just seemed really boring. But he does it and still remains engaging. I wish I could remember his first name. Is it Andrew? I'm totally pulling that out of my butt. Anywho, if you don't follow that one, give it a shot. What's he got? He's got 2,400 subscribers. So I imagine most people in here too. But if you don't, give him a shot. That's gonna be fun to follow. A year on the road, and it sounds like a lot of time, but that's gonna be hectic. That's gonna be really hectic. What do we got here? Roger McKeon bought 5 Travelin Ham gift memberships. Very cool. Dave is now a member. Andy is now a member. Chris is now a member. Snowcone snuck in there. He's been lurking. He is a member. Motor Knight is a member now. Very cool. Thank you, Roger McKeon. Doing your part to keep at least most of my videos mid-roll ad-free. And you will get some early access to videos as well. I've got one coming up now of an activation from my trip in Missouri. I'll probably have it up in the next day or so, and it will be members only until I have to set it up for the premiere for Tuesday. I've got to do that on Sunday. So from whenever I upload it, let's say I upload it tomorrow. Let's think positively. I upload it tomorrow on Thursday. Members will be able to watch it between Thursday and Sunday, and then sometime on Sunday I will set it up for the premiere, and then no one will be able to watch it once I do that. I won't even be able to watch it when it's set up for that. So yeah, that pulled out a couple lurkers in there too. Motor Knight, glad you're here, watching the live stream. And Snowcones actually, Snowcones and I have a little bit of history. He was my very first contact from the bottom of Grand Canyon when I hiked down and set up my station and turned it on and nervously started tuning through the bands. His was the first signal I heard, and he was activating up in Washington, and I was able to get get him as a park to park before I was even recording or anything. So that was pretty cool. And I had thought, the canyon's running in this direction, like it's across my face here. If I hold out my arm straight, I know you can't see it in this little camera window here, but the canyon runs this way, so I thought that's the direction that all my contacts would be. But Snowcones was in this direction, right over the north rim of the canyon, and that was the first contact. And it was a pretty strong contact. I so wish I had it recorded, but it just happened so fast I didn't even think to turn the camera on. So there you go. A bunch of new members, very cool. Where was I? Where was I before all that? Oh yeah, I was looking to see if I had overlapped with this park, and I don't. I do not. Yeah, Paul, that would have been a fun day to be able to see RF and see how much it's bouncing around in there. I don't know if it bounces and goes out or if it just goes out. But if you got a low wire, which I did in that activation, it's 30 degrees and above that, what most people would call an invis antenna. It really does good for all angles 30 degrees and higher. So that includes a lot of stuff other than invis, which is why I put out a video saying don't call it an invis antenna. There's no such thing. There's not an antenna that just sends a beam straight up in the air and that's all it does. Maybe if you took a Yagi and pointed it straight up in the air, I suppose. But those antennas don't do that. They just eliminate the lower angles, which is good if you're in a canyon or if you're in some kind of severe mountainous terrain. That Sam Houston National Forest is still kind of bugging me a little bit. Let's do this. There's the National Wildlife Area. There's the National Forest. Let's do the National Forest first. I imagine there's a lot of activators. I don't remember the commenter before that said he doesn't worry about infers. He or she doesn't worry about infers. But sometimes they're just more work and trouble than they're worth. You know, if you're not really into the stats and you just wanna get out there and play radio, it's they take some effort. Is there a map? Data and tools. Geospatial data. Sam Houston National Forest map. National forests are complex on their own as well. Most of them are not like they're just one contiguous piece of ground, but they can be a real checkerboard. Like the one I did recently in Missouri. Buddy Dave's probably familiar with. Yeah, look at that. All this shaded area that you see, that's pretty much all Mark Twain National Forest. You can see it all highlight when I put it over one. So it's all over the southern part of the state of Missouri. And down here, where I was at Table Rock, it just had these little pieces right here. So that's where I was able to activate it. But I mean, it's spread all over the southern part of the state. They're complex. Well, where's that image? Here we go. So this is just proposed burns. There's Lake Conroe. There's Huntsville. I think Huntsville State Park is around Lake Conroe, is it not? Let's go back to Texas. There's Sam Houston National Forest. No, the state park is up here. Okay. Straight south of Huntsville. Where'd that map go? Here we go. Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, there's that right there. Maybe there's a small area that overlaps there. I'm not finding anything that's really supporting that, but and I want to. That's the thing, because I really believe that's there's definitely some overlap there. Our boys on the ground have said so and talked to officials and confirmed it. Further north, the state forest is splotchy. Yeah. Look for Raven Lake. I think I saw that on this. Oh crap! What map was I on? There I am. Lake Raven. Yeah. Yeah. So on this map, I'm looking right there. There's Lake Raven. Right there, and it doesn't have any green around it, but it does have some right here. You know, maybe that gets into the state park on this little corner right there. So, but there you go. There's a map of a state forest. That's pretty crazy. What about Sam Houston This park is a rare instance where the entire Sam Houston National Forest is also a WMA, a wildlife management area, managed by the Texas Parks and Wildlife under an agreement. Given the unique national and state agency split, these parks can have two reference numbers for the same property. So the WMA is managed by the state, but the National Forest itself is obviously managed by the feds. See if I can find a better forest map here. How am I doing on time? Still good? Still good. I don't want to run over Mike's video here. Oh boy, can I make that bigger? That looks like what I want. Texas State Park boundary. Texas Wildlife Management boundary is the lighter green. The darker green says State Park boundary. Now the lighter green here says Sam Houston National. Are there three types of green in there? I only see two. Oh, there's the state. Okay. And there's Sam Houston all around the park there. Yeah. So that looks a lot more convincing right there. How it's all around the park. And I know Mike has asked around in there to make sure that that park is in the threefer. So there you go. That's a much better map. But there's a good example of you get two different sources that say two separate things. It can get pretty muddy. I haven't done too many infers. There's the Wyoming 7-fer. That was obviously the big one. And Kyle actually did the research. I just happened to be going by it a year later. So I activated it. But it's right on this Highway 28 here. So here's Jackson and Yellowstone. So Grand Teton's right there. Yellowstone National Park is right there. It's kind of in the getting in the southeastern corner of the state. But that's a 7-fer there, and it's because you have these trails going right through here. Is that my spot? Yeah, false parting of the ways right there. So that's my spot. Or you can see this trail passes very close by with the monument right here, and I paced that off to make sure it was 100 feet. So that was one. And then there was another here in Massachusetts. Actually, I didn't know this one at the time. This is something else you can do, is if you see new parks pop up, you can get new infers. And this is one where I activated a single park, the National Seashore, Cape Cod National Seashore. But then they added this Marconi Wildlife Management Area. How cool a name is that? Marconi. Why didn't that come up in the search? What's the name again? Marconi Wildlife Management Area. There we go. So you can see there, it's a newer number. Any maps here? Mass.gov. Well, that's the whole state of Massachusetts. Oh, no, that's not what I want. WMA map. Hey, Brent, good to see you. Thanks for joining the live stream. Yeah, so there we go. Hey, that's a good map right there. How cool is that? So there we are, overlapping, kind of right where Route 6 comes in and dips in right there. Now, what the heck other map was I looking at? I was here. Yeah, so that's this spot right here. So this whole area in here, where the Marconi, you see Marconi Station Road right there. So that whole area, old wireless road. Uh-oh. Okay, there's the WMA. There's the station road. I think I activated up here. I'm outside of the WMA. Shame. Shame. I cheated in Infer. You guys caught me live. That does not go all the way out. All right, before I hang myself here, let's make sure. POTA Power, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream, where I just got myself in trouble. I think I just found out I cheated in Infer. Let's make sure I activated where I think I activated. Oh gosh, gotta get my bearings. Here's the, yeah, see there's the station road right there. There's the trail. There's that hexagonal deck right there. Okay, so that's where I activated. Darn it. See, look at this. I'm researching things after the fact and found out. I think when I heard this became a park, I just assumed that it covered the whole station area. Clearly it does not. Okay, so how do I do that? I think I got to go to my log uploads. Man, this is gonna be a while ago. So I think it's gonna stick it back here in 2022. Oh, that's 2023. There's Cape Cod National Seashore. Oh, this is in order of upload, isn't it? Submitted. Can I put it in order by processed? Yes. Other way. Now we're talking. Cape Cod National Seashore. Did I not ever submit that? Let's do a Control F here for Marconi. 1 out of 1, just right there. Maybe I never submitted it. Maybe I did nothing wrong. I sure intended to. Could it be on the earlier page? All right, let's check the earlier page. Still only has Marconi in here one time. There we go. There we go. Oh, it says I activated on... Oh, that's all kinds of wrong. What's the second column? Oh, processed. Here's the QSOs. Okay, I think I'm going to have to delete this. What I will probably have to do is go over here and request support and have them delete that. But before I do, I'm gonna check a couple more sources on that and see. Chris is having ice cream. Is that what's going on? He's actually telling us he's watching and eating ice cream right now, Chris. Chris, do you have enough to share with everybody? I'm losing Parks and he's eating ice cream. Let's see, what else? That's from Massachusetts Wildlife. I mean, that's pretty authoritative. What is it? Marconi WMA map. Let's try that. It is putting all kinds of stuff in here. Let's spell it out a little bit more. Wildlife Management Area MA. It's just about Massachusetts. Huh. Bunch of worthless stuff here. Bunch of worthless stuff here. Marconi Wildlife Management Area Trails. Yeah, gosh, I think this one makes it even look even farther away. The last one I think showed it to include some of these headquarters here, but not this road going up to the station site. So many windows open. Looks like my wife's computer right now. Where'd that map go? CWMA map. Yeah, see, this one shows this extra area up here. And this one does not. Go figure. And this is MassachusettsTrails.com. So, I mean, who's not to say I'll find another one on a Massachusetts authoritative site that'll show it within. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Well, that's what I get for coming on here to brag about the infers that I've done. Any other infers I could think of that I could that I could disprove right here live in a live stream? I don't know if I want to. I had the one in Missouri. I just did on the way back from the show, from Dayton. And it was right here where Trail of Tears went through all that blinking there. That's all the National Forest again. And then there was another trail that comes down through there that isn't shown on the map. So I was pretty confident of that one. We had two intersecting trails within Mark Twain National Forest. What was that town name that was around here? Let's see, I came up here in Rolla. It was over here. Salem. It's like Center Line or something like that. Was it this part of the trail down here? Yeah, there's Centerville. Yeah, so it's this trail coming up here. And then, so that was a pretty legit threefer in that case, involving two trails. Those are just, you know, those are a little more clear when you've actually got the trails. But there we go. So probably ought to start wrapping this up. I don't want to do this anymore anyway because I'm losing parks here as I'm yakking. So let's just all right. While we got everybody here, let's just go ahead and do this. Request support. Please delete. Upon further review, I was not in the park while at the Marconi stations. This is way more information than they want. All they care about is please delete. There we go. Send. There we go. So you know I did it. It's an honor system, right? Oh well. It's just POTA. It's just POTA. Take it easy, Brent. Thanks for coming. 7-3. Keep in mind we've got premiere videos coming up. Mike into MAKs is coming up at 6:33. We're going to hang it up here in just a minute or two and head that way. And he's actually the guy with the long video today, 20 minutes. And then Jeff's got a 7-minute video following that. I'm interested to see that. It's going to be something different than what we normally see from Mr. Zarge. So look forward to that. And then, of course, that all leads up, I haven't mentioned, that all leads up to Ham Radio Clubhouse. They'll start at 7 o'clock. Who knows what they're going to be talking about today? Let's look it up, see if they're having anybody on. While I've got you all here captive. Sipping tea and smoking cigars. There you go. There you go. That's all the information. That's all the information that we get. But there we go. That's what we'll do. I'm going to wrap it up right here so everyone has a few minutes to get over to Mike's channel. Thanks for hanging out here on the live stream. We will maintain this for a while to be here to answer beginner POTA questions or it seems like we're going to be doing a lot of park researching, and that's kind of fun. So I do like that. I will be out again next week. My wife and I will be observing our 30th wedding anniversary, which is on Monday next week. So Tuesday we'll still be out of town. We're leaving over the weekend, and I think we'll be out of town for the first part of the next week. I will be spending time with her and not you lovely people. And I think y'all understand that. But so there will be no live stream next week, no POTA live stream, and then we should pick up on a fairly regular schedule after that. We're getting to the point here we're going to start rolling again soon. But thanks again, guys, for everybody hanging out here today and watching me lose a park. Have a good one. Check out the premieres. We will see you over there. 7-3.
He was running his rig 20 words per minute with Morse code. I strode up to his station and said, hey man, I got that mode. If you're going to activate Mike, with me you can ride. So I sat at the picnic table and I settled down by his side. He asked if I'd been in a better park to scan across the bands, and I said, listen, I POTA everywhere in this here land.
Everywhere, baby.
And I POTA everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. Woo! West Coast to the east, man. Sea to shining sea, man. Activations, I've had my share, man. I POTA everywhere.
Is there a better POTA AI song out there? I haven't heard it.
Coconino, Yellowstone, Sorrowscope, and Coronado, Ashita, San Juan, Niagara, Chiricahua, Alma, Mackinac, Kilso-Quad, North Willapa, Redwood, Silverwood, Ironwood, Red Rock Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Black Canyon, and Grand Canyon. I'm a champion. I've had my share, man. I POTA everywhere.
Salmon Brook Lake Bog, baby.
I POTA Cheney, Willoughby, Searim, Mesa Verde, Acadia, Lake Scott, Cape Cod, Lower Neches, Cascades, Burlingame, Gateway, Arch, Channel Island, Teton, Zion, Galveston, Padre Island, Camp Creek, Yosemite, Manistee, Ocean Lake, Ross Lake, Hutton Lake, Crater Lake, for Pete's sake. I POTA everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. False parting of the ways, man. Pony Express Trail, man. Activations, I've had my share, man. I POTA everywhere. I POTA Canyonlands, White Sands, Badlands, Lake Livingston, Cheyenne Roads, and Lassen, Rainbow Basin, Tall Grass, Sabine, Pass, Assateague, 11 Mile, Four Corners, Dinosaur, Fort Bowie, Jekyll Isle, Marconi, Pollard, Flat Arches, Queen, Wilhelmina, Lake Mead, Catalina. See what I mean? I POTA everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. 40-acre rock, man. Pariah movie set, man. From bottom of canyons I dare, man. I POTA everywhere. I POTA McFadden, Pinnacles, Peterman, Medicine Bow, J.D. Murphy, Butterfield, Picacho, Daniel Boone in Indiana Dunes, Fort Bowie, Blue Ridge, Trap Pond, Camp Creek, Devil's Tower, Golden Gate Bridge, Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, Olympic, Dixie, Dickwood, Big Thicket, that's the ticket. everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. Cross the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travels I've had my share,